So hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. This week you join us back on the reservoir and we're in search of roach. As you can see from the opening shot, it's a beautiful, still, misty morning on the bank. There's plenty of activity on the water with fish topping, and hopefully we can get one or two bites. It's a busy bank holiday weekend, there's plenty of people on. So this week, something completely new for me on here. We've set up on the dam wall. I'm already set up, ready to go. A bit of ground bait mixed up. We're about 6-7 foot deep, but it is going off, so it does make for a bit of a challenging swim, but there's plenty of fish topping. There isn't really anybody around us, so we've got plenty of water. We have seen Mr. Carp though, he is about. So what we'll do now, we'll waste no time. We'll have a look at the side tray, the tactics we're going to use to hopefully catch a few roach. So looking at the side tray, we're going to be targeting these roach and then bottom layers to begin with. So we've got plenty of Hinders hemp, and we've got some more on hand. We've got corn for the hook, and if it is really hard, we've got some maggots as well. And of course, if they're having it, we all know how good a turd is. So that's the bait that we've got to work with. Also mixed up some of the supercharged ground bait from Hinders, and that at the moment is just settling, and we'll mix up some balls for when we start. So thanks to you guys who left the feedback about seeing a whip video. It is a pretty decent swim for it, as you can see there. There's my plummet, and if we look to there, we've got quite a bit of depth. I've got a 1.25 gram float, and I'm going to be in a second putting a bulk shot of number 4 weights in a bulk on the line and 2 number 8 droppers down to a size 14 hook, nice and positive. So just gonna shot the float now and then we'll make a start. So on a venue like this, like I said, there is a few people on today. They're all fishing for carp, it looks like, and spodding, so you've got to put bait in and be positive. So I'm going to start off with 5 balls of the Hinders supercharged black. It's already got a lot of crushed hemp in it, but I've added a bit more in as well. And in one of the balls I put quite a bit of the corn. That's the opening bit of bait I'm going to put in, just to get a better bait on the bottom. The most important thing on here is you've got a lot of water and you've got to get the fish into your bit. You can see people spodding. You can put a lot of bait in with a spod. The roach are going to eat all the bits off that as well. You can see there's 1 or 2 fish topping around us. What we want to do is draw them into us down here. So to start off with, it's been really positive. Trying to get some of that bait on the bottom, feeding this side of the float. Obviously because you'd want the fish to come in, and you can always come closer. And say putting a good few balls in, just over an area. And say the upside of this is you're going to attract the fish in. The downside, obviously, with a better bait on the bottom, you do increase your chances of hitting Mr. Carp, which is the downside. Just going to flick over the top. I'm just starting on a single maggot, and say every cast in, just going to feed that hemp over the top. And to start with, just to get a few bites and just to judge the swim, I'm going to feed a bit of maggot as well. Feeding that hemp over the top. Obviously it's a clear venue, so that bait falling through the water is a good visual thing to bring fish in, and the noise of it hitting the water, you know, is all going to attract fish into our area. So I did turn the GoPro off expecting to wait a bit for the bite, but it's taken probably about 2 or 3 minutes and we're into the first one, and surprisingly it's a perch. See there, a lovely perch. So it's been quite slow to begin with. The next bites took a while to come, and again it's a perch, but it's a nice one. Certainly not one to swing in. And isn't that the beauty of fishing? You know, we've come today with baits targeting roach, but just by bringing maggot and covering all bases, you can be surprised by what's in a venue. I'm sure Mr. Carp's not far away, and hopefully then roach will move in, but it's a lovely perch, and maybe a venue we need to come on with the lure rod. As I say, I'm not the best lure angler in the world, far from it, but there must be 1 or 2 along this wall here that might be worth targeting. So when we used to fish this place a few years ago, you never really caught perch on it. It was all roach. And yeah, there's another perch. And it's mad how a venue can change, really. So just flicking out, feeding some of them maggots into the swim, because obviously if there's a few perch about, you want to attract them in. And then the hemp. I used to fish the venue a couple of years ago. You did sometimes have to wait for the roach to come in. They weren't always in the swim. So I'm not too concerned that we're not catching roach at the moment. I say there's plenty of perch about. And there we go, there's the bite. I say it feels like another perch, if I'm honest. And with the venue being so clear, look at the lovely colours on that. So we've not had a single roach so far, they've all been perch. But when they look like that, you can't complain. Every so often you just strike and it's not one of those little small perch. It's something a bit bigger. And slightly better perch. Another beautiful perch. As I say, we've not had a single roach so far, which you wouldn't believe after the other session on here. But one of the beauties of your dad coming with you, a brew on the bank. And this little storm side tray that I picked up, perfect for today. You literally just put the lid down and protect your bait. But looking around, hopefully them roach are just moving in. Feeding wise, even though we're catching the perch and keeping on putting in that hemp and maggots, like you said over there last time, we didn't feed maggot at all, it was just hemp and that corn. But just keep putting it in, because it is that hemp that if the roach do arrive, it's going to keep them in the swim. And hopefully when they do move in, there's a nice bed down there to keep that shoal. You see on here it's a big expanse of water, and you've got to hold that shoal even when it does come in. But at the moment, just feeding those maggots and that hemp at the same time, and still going over them initial 5 balls of ground bait that we know is on the bottom. And hopefully as we begin to build the swim, then roach will move in. But at the moment, Mr. Perch is all over this bait. So you can see here now conditions are changing. They had to give a few showers today, but yeah, you can just see how that wind's now going across and is on us, but it's not stopping these perch. So it's taken probably an hour of fishing and we've got the first roach. I used to think of roach on here a bit like dace on the river, where there's one, there's normally more. And there was sessions on here fishing the feeder in winter where you had to keep casting and casting and casting to the point you were close in on giving in, and eventually the tip would go round and you'd keep getting them. So hopefully that's the first of a few roach. So I had a feeling the roach might just be that little bit further out. Quickly had a waggler set up in my bag, had a couple of casts and very quickly picked up a roach. It is a more sensitive rig. I've only got one number 8 dropper down the line. It's no coincidence with those moody skies, just fishing that little tiny bit further out, that we're getting 1 or 2 roach. It's good to see these roach are about, and they are just holding a bit further out than my whip can reach. Not too far, but literally maybe half a rod length. Now, getting 2 roach that quick, you know, is no coincidence. They are just holding off the bait. And there we go, another one just coming on the waggler. Definitely just holding just that little bit further out. Just going to keep feeding and just try and draw them in a little bit, like I said, but it's good to know they are about. Although the roach are not playing ball today, you soon drop on that inside line again and it's perch after perch after perch. Most definitely going to come up here with the lure rod and stick the GoPro on my head, and we'll just walk up and down this wall, I think, and have a go for them. But yeah, these little guys and their older brothers want a chuck. Just feeding that hemp now, heavy, and fishing corn on the hook. Just getting them roach now on the float. As I say, such a shame you can't get them on the whip close in, but what it means is we'll have to come back and have another go, won't we? But lovely fishing, most definitely. And the days where it's tough and doesn't go to plan necessarily, made a lot better by that. What a lovely roach that is. It's coming on the Waggler. And one thing for certain, we would have definitely reached out there with my 8-metre whip. Weird how they just hold him, just out probably where them ducks are there. They won't come any closer in, and they are quality roach like we were getting last week. And like you get with this venue, when you do get a roach, it's always quality. It's a lovely roach. So moving out there was most definitely the right thing to do. We've connected with the best fish of the day, it looks like. So lovely being out with this 13-foot rod, and oh yeah, does look like a nice one. And then perch this morning really were a surprise, but that is most definitely the fish of the day. Makes all the effort setting up the Waggler and stuff like that, and getting it right out there worthwhile. Let's get it straight back and see if we can get another. This week's vlog has been a bit of an adventure. You know, we've been through it all, from them perch at the start on the whip, and now getting these quality roach on the Waggler. It really has been an enjoyable day on the bank. What we'll do now is we'll take a look at that final net and see how we've done. So the session does come to an end there now, and as you can see from the final net, we got plenty of bites on the session, starting off with those perch but ending with those beautiful roach that we come for. That for me is the magic of fishing. When you go, sometimes it doesn't go to plan, but you never really know, and at any moment a little change can have a huge impact on the session, and that is the beauty of fishing for me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. I just want to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.